What a dear and precious and special place this is. Amen. That is able to fill our hearts each time we enter in. It's magnified like an echo. It echoes among us. But it's not a thunderous echo. It's an echo of the sound of love. Amen. What is the sound of love? The echo of the sound of love resounds among us and between us as we enter in here. And it is why we return. It is why we come back. It is the salt of the earth. Yesterday morning, a few of us got together and talked about salt. There's so many interesting characteristics of salt. Jesus said we are to be the salt of the earth. Salt. What is salt? What is salt? Salt is a preservative. Denny, you helped me out here if you remember. And Mike, they were with me. It is a preservative. It is a seasoning. Yes, of course, right. It causes what we eat to taste good. It is a cleanser, a purifier. It is a basic requirement of life. We absolutely must have salt to live. So many characteristics of salt. And what did Jesus mean then when he said we must be the salt of the earth, or we are the salt of the earth? We hear the term, he's the salt of the earth. What does that mean? It strikes me it is what we are, not what we do. Think about Jesus this way. What was it about him that drew people to him? It was certainly the words he said, but there was more to it than that. It was who he was. And who was he? Why? He was the presence of God among us. The presence of God among us. Now, nary one of us is the presence of God among us. We are creatures. We are not the creator. We're the created. And yet we can reflect the Creator. For he has made us. He has made each of us and knows each of us more intimately than we know ourselves. And so imagine there is this God who we know of and who we have met in so many very intimate and personal ways, who is far beyond all that we can know, and yet as close to us as our own skin. In us in ways that are more intimate than we are able even to be with ourselves. We know what? We know ourselves. We have awareness of our bodies to a degree. How many of us really feel and sense and know the blood flowing through our veins? We don't really. I suppose there are those who can develop a sense of that, but God knows. God knows each single cell in that bloodstream. Intimately, he knows. And not just in us, but what we do not know, we know that there are others because we see them and we share with them and we talk with them, but we are not in them. We are not in each other. We are in ourselves. So how do we make contact with each other? A great theologian, Paul Tillich, said we do so through God. It is as though there is a triangle, and we are at one foot of that triangle, and that person we love is at the other, and we reach them not this way, because we can't. We can prod and poke and touch, but we miss them. When we have disagreements, when we have anger and frustration, it is because we're trying to do this. We're trying to reach out and touch as though we had the ability to reach into another person's life. But we don't. Only can we through He who is conscious of each and all of us. So we reach through Him to reach that other soul, that other person. We are creatures, created beings, with a limited time and a limited space. We are here, we grow, we thrive, we have joys and sorrows. We come together as we are able to be in the presence of love. We weaken, we sicken, we die, we pass on. And there is among us who remain the memory, perhaps the kindled spirit, the kindled sense of love that we shared. My mother used to, when my father died, my mother said, "Love survives death." And it did for her because she kept his love with her through the rest of her life. And it was real and it was strong. There were so many times when I talked with her to try to get a sense of what my father would have done or what he felt or what he thought. And she knew. She knew. She knew intimately because their relationship was built on their commitment to the presence of God in their lives. And they knew each other through Him. They had a wonderful ministry, a loving, joyous, celebrating ministry. And it stopped too soon, too short. Well, but it continued in the hearts of those who were a part of it and spread and continues to spread. So it is with the words that come down to us in this communion we are to share this morning. The very words of Jesus, when He took the bread and He broke it and said, "This is my body," those were the words He spoke. Those were the very words He spoke. And we speak those same words today. So there is that, not just an echo, not just a reverberation, but a persistence, a living testimony that has touched the lives of countless millions in the years between us and then, and will continue to do so. It is the living presence of Christ among us who we share as we share this morning. All set? Let us join together in communion.